one. Hello.
Hi.
Hello, hello.
Welcome, everyone. If you're here, say hello in the chat so that we know that you're
Yeah,
here.
we don't know if it's working.
We don't.
Yeah.
It's
Let
not
us
Randy's
know.
fault,
The computer
apparently.
said it wasn't my fault.
Oh, wait.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, there it is. Okay, I started hearing us echoing, and that was very creepy. Well, hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome to another episode of Paranormal Pinays. Today is, what did you say it was? Love Your Pet Day?
It's National Love Your Pet Day.
Yeah, so we thought that it would be nice to share some cool supernatural pet stories because animals are our familiars and they're very magical and we can learn a lot from them. And I have a lot of cool stories with my doggy that passed away a couple years ago. But
Mhm.
before we get into that, Lynn, you said something really weird happened before we logged on.
Oh, yeah. Wait, are we introducing ourselves again?
I mean, yeah, we can.
Okay, let's
Hello,
do
I'm
it.
I
Sapphire.
refuse to introduce myself today. No.
You should know who we are. Just
I
kidding.
know you should know by now.
Well, I am Sapphire, and we are streaming on my channel. I share ghost stories, and today I'm feeling very, I don't know, confused, I guess.
Oh, we're also celebrating your sister is having a baby.
Yeah.
So she's gonna be
Yes.
an aunt.
Yeah,
Girls
I
knew.
am already a tita, but I'm gonna be a tita again. To a nephew this time, though. I have a niece, and this is my first
Yeah.
nephew.
Aw. Well, I'm Lynn, and I am in preparation for a marathon, so I'm going to the gym afterwards. Half marathon, but I'm really shitting it. But the last time I did it was in 20. I'm sorry, it's not 20. It's 2005.
Oh, wow.
The full marathon, the LA marathon, and then here I am in my 40s trying to do a half marathon, and I've got like cricks and hip stuff and working through it. But you got mind over matter. So that's
Well,
where I'm
I'm proud of you.
Me too.
That's who I am. No, I'm Randy. I'm proud of you. I'm a
Send money.
corgi mom. I got a corgi, and I guess I'm a cat grandma because apparently my cats are supposedly my son's cats, but they're with me now, and they're very magical, familiar type cats. So
Mm.
Oh, yeah, we should probably say, since we're talking about pets, what our pets are.
Yeah.
Well, I have two dogs. I have a Australian cattle dog named Norman and a Chihuahua mix named Lola. Do I have any other? No, that's it. And then there's loose cats that are always just in our yard that we sort of low-key adopted.
Oh, the loose cats. We have a
Yeah.
few. My neighbors feed them. I have one, there's one stubby-tailed cat that comes around the front, and I'm allergic to
Aw.
cats.
Oh, no.
But for some reason, I haven't been sneezing around cats. Like I'm really close to them unless they're within the vicinity of my living room and dander everywhere. But I haven't had a super horrible reaction. So I'm really happy about that. But it comes around the front of the house, and I occasionally go, "Hey," you're like, "Come here, come here, come here," and just like it loves to be pet. But other than that, my dog is Duke, and he is a German Shepherd Pit Bull mix. So he's a
Cute.
cutie.
Yay! So before we talk about pets, Lynn, what happened before we logged on? Actually, wait, before we talk about that, thank you, Animatronics, for sending a super chat.
Thank you.
But you did not send a comment in there. Yeah, if you send a super chat, we are legally obligated to read your chat out loud. It's like if you really want your comment to be on the screen, but I guess you know what, here. Yay, thank you.
I love that picture.
No, it's really, what is that?
It's like a cactus dog? I don't know.
Oh, I thought it was like a zombie. But
No, I don't
cactus
know.
makes more sense.
Because the ears look like cacti.
That
That is their familiar.
Yes. All
Okay,
right.
so
Mm-hmm.
just to like get over this one story so we can go over our pet stories. I was in the bathroom getting ready, just washing my face, and then these cell phones nowadays, they have lock screens. And so I have a lock screen. I was about to get out, and then it turned on by itself. And then the Google search bar started moving across the different pages by itself. And I was just staring at it, watching it move. I'm like, who's fucking with my phone now? Like, and then I was like, all I can think of is one of my friends who passed away, my sister Rachel, who um, went to the other side about a few years ago, and I think she was just reminding me or excited that we're gonna go on Paranormal Pinays today. So she's like, "Well, tell
Oh.
this story that the paranormal exists and ghosts do move things, and they can manipulate electronics like our cell phones and different stuff." So I thought that was really cute. I don't really get freaked out about stuff like this. I just kind of look at it with fascination. And so that was a cool story that I wanted to share with everybody today. So that just
Oh,
happened within the
Oh.
hour.
Well,
I love
thanks,
that.
Rachel. Shout out to Rachel.
Shout out
Yeah.
to Rachel.
Go
Hmm.
Rach. Still alive on the other side.
Yeah. Stuff like that happens to me all the time where it's like, I'm like, oh, I guess I'm supposed to be looking at this thing. This thing that
Yeah.
just opened, or, you know, divine synchronicity is what I call it, because things don't happen for no reason. And usually you know, it's fun to explore such things as opposed to trying to write it off.
Mhm.
Unless you're busy, you don't always have to go down rabbit holes, but it's fun.
Oh, Animatronic said it's Springtrap from Five Nights at Freddy's. So I saw the movie, didn't like it. I don't remember which one's Springtrap, but thanks for clearing that up.
Oh, okay. I saw the movie. It was
You know,
fascinating. It was interesting.
fascinating.
I was wondering why my kids were into Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm like,
Mm,
what is this? And I saw the movie. I'm like, got it.
right. It's
Interesting.
just, creepy little puppet guys.
Somebody was
Um
high writing the script. Got it.
Adam, thank you for this. Is this a super chat? Yes, it is. Thank you. Everyone vote for Sapphire's film breeder to get made. Oh, thanks, Adam. Also, since this message had to be longer and we're talking pets, shout out to my beagle, Ollie. Shout out
Oh,
to
hi,
Shout out to
Ollie.
Ollie. Yeah, Breeder is going to be amazing. And Sig, my huswife, is going to be doing the special effects for it. So,
Yes. I mean, vote for it, if anything, to see that come to life, because their design for it is like so creepy and cool. And I want to pay them to make it.
come on. Let's get the
Awesome.
things
Yes, please
made.
vote. There's a link if you look at I posted a video about it, so you can find the link there. So if you haven't, please vote for it.
Yeah.
Um, awesome. All right. Well,
Okay.
I can start with my dog. So in 2021, my dog Zisu passed. It wasn't unexpected. He had been sick for a very long time. And so I actually, like, I mean, we probably could have kept him alive longer, but I was about to go on like a month-long shoot in Montana, and I was like, no, he might leave when I'm, gone, and that would just like be terrible. I'm like, no, I think like now's like the time. It's like a week before I left, we, set a date, and I personally have never been present when anyone has crossed over. So I didn't know what to expect, and he was like sitting in my lap. Uh, and if you're familiar with the process, they do the 2 injections, and then when she inserted the second needle, I felt this like whoosh, this kind of like rush
Mm.
from like his body, and it like almost felt like something like went through me. And then yeah, she put on the stethoscope and she said that she's like, yeah, he's gone. And I was like, whoa, I just have never like felt that feeling before. Um, and then when I went to Montana, uh, there was like 2 times where I heard Zisu's name just like on set, because there was one day where somebody in production was wearing like a Steve Zissou shirt, and that's what Zisu was named after. And it was
Oh.
and it was a day that like I really was like struggling because I was like, oh, I can't believe I have to like film this stupid thing and like my dog just died. And then like
Mm.
I hear his name and it was almost like, oh, like Zisu was just saying like, it's okay, mommy. So that was really nice.
That's
Um,
powerful. Mm.
and then there was one time where I forget like how long after I had already come back to LA. This was one of the weirder ones. I was sleeping in bed. My husband was there, and then also our other dog Lola was on the bed too. And in the middle of the night, I hear nails on the floor. And at the time, we had a concrete floor, and it was loud enough that it woke me up. And I recognized that as usually, if one of my dogs have to like go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, then I get up. But I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm like shuffling around in the bed, and then I feel that Lola is still next to me. And I was like, wait, who are those nails? But then I kind of like didn't want to look, but I just kind of acknowledged that it was Zisu who was in the room. And I was just kind of like, okay, thanks, buddy. Oh no, I forgot a very important detail of that story. I ruined it. Okay, so that was actually the day, let's see. I remember it was April 15, like 2 years ago. We went to go meet Norman, our current dog. We did a little meet and greet with him, and then before I went to bed that night, I was like, Zisu, if you like approve of us getting another dog right now, send me a kind of sign. And then that was the night when I heard the nails, and I was like, oh, okay. I think
Aw,
that's him saying like, it's cool, like. So
the
that
little
was really
clickety
nice.
clacks.
It was loud enough to wake me up.
Oh, I
Mhm.
love that.
Yeah, I kind of do wish I peeked over the bed, but I think I was a little nervous.
He's all there like,
Just
I
like
think you're getting
staring. Um, and then sorry, now I'm like rambling. And then the one other really crazy thing that happened was we were we got the dog Norman, and then we were also moving to our house, our current house right now. And I remember Google mapping, like just looking on Google Map of what the area of our new house was gonna be. And then there was something that had his name, but it was spelled a little different. I don't want to like say it because I don't want people to like look up the neighborhood, but like it was his name. It said Zisu on the map near the house. And I was like, what is this? And I clicked on it and it said that it was a restaurant. And we're like, that's so weird that his name would be like in our neighborhood. And we're like, let's go see what it is. And we drive to the location. There's nothing there. So
Whoa.
it's just, I was like, why is this on the Google Maps? But then what's even weirder, so I don't know what happened, but now there is actually a restaurant with that name in our neighborhood. So it is a thing. But it
Oh,
was on the Google Maps before it existed, but also like in a
wow.
different location.
Mm.
Wow.
But yeah, so there's like weird little things like that have happened since I lost him. So yeah,
Aw,
Oh.
those are my
I
Zisu
love that.
stories.
I had a dream of him. Like,
Yes,
Oh.
you
I don't know
did.
when. It was a long time ago. Probably around
Mhm.
the time I met you or something, or I don't know.
I think it was when we had like just moved into our new house too, because I think that you were
Mhm.
describing our house and you hadn't been there
Oh,
yet either.
okay. Oh yeah. Me and those dreams. I don't know what they
Yeah.
Yeah.
mean when I have them, and then
Mhm.
then you talk about it, and you're like, oh, okay.
That
That's what
makes
it
Like,
meant.
sense.
checks out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so weird. You said so the name is Zisu, and you saw the name on Google Maps before it
Mm-hmm.
existed.
Yeah.
He sounds like a dog angel,
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
guardian angel dog. I mean, if people believe in that, I think this is pretty evident that
I
it's
I believe it.
possible, right?
Yeah, I believe that
Mhm,
most people, if they're really close to their pets stick around or they come and go because
mhm,
our pets and animals are very connected to nature, and nature is very connected to the spirit realm. So our pets are angels, guides, whatever you want to call them. They're just around, and I see them around people sometimes.
mhm.
Um, Sometimes I see them on the floor and I think I'm seeing an animal and I'm like, "Oh, I guess it was nothing." 'Cause that was your pet, or that is your pet and it's in spirit. But it just looks kinda
Mhm.
Oh.
like peripheral things. And I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I'm seeing the thing.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Oh,
that
that did
makes
happen
sense.
once. After he died, this is at my old place. I was like at my computer, and then I could have sworn that I saw in the corner of my eye. I thought it was my other Lola who wanted to be picked up. And I was like, oh, so I lean over and I reach down and there's no dog there. And I was like, what the fuck? So that was weird, but kind of cool, but weird. And it's
Yeah.
also just it's funny. I don't think either of you had met him. But or actually no, Lyn, you might have met him when you came over. Um, but it's funny thinking of him as like a little angel because he was so mean. He was such a
No,
mean
I
dog.
did. I met him. I
Yeah, he
You're
remember.
like,
was
oh, I
so
remember.
grumpy.
I know the
Yeah,
personality.
he was so sassy, but I loved him for it. It's just like, I don't know. I understood
No.
why he was sassy. He had a very like weird, traumatic past, and he had a bunch of ailments, so he was just like grumpy. But like when he was sweet, he was so sweet, you know. And he was my first dog, like as a adult. Like I had a childhood, two
Mhm.
childhood dogs, but he was the first one I had where it was like, this is my dog, and I'm taking care of him by myself. So I feel like that's a special kind of bond.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Aw.
I think about Tupac, and he's getting up there in age. He's 13, and but
Mm.
he's like a puppy still. Like people always when they meet him, they're like, he's that old. But yeah, I think about him being around when he crosses over. He's definitely going to be around because he's such a familiar for me. He reminds me of like burning certain incenses and things. Like he's just such a magical dog, and he's kind of a grumpy old man now too. I call him the protector of doorways because wherever he is, he wants to be in front of a door, and then if he doesn't like a person that comes over, he'll like close the door on them. People
Oh,
are always like, "Did he just close the door on me?" I'm like, "Yeah, he does that." He protects the doors, so
I
I can
love that.
imagine when he crosses over that I'll hear clickety clacks, and doors will probably close because he's
mhm,
that powerful.
mhm.
I love that.
He's a portal protector.
Yeah, he
Mm.
is. When I do clear my house, do house clearings, he chases out the whatever it is out the door. So
Mhm.
I light the bundle, and I bring the smoke, and then once I'm about to open the door, he like runs out and he just like starts barking at whatever. He doesn't usually just start barking whenever he runs out. It's only when I'm doing a clearing for the house. And when I cast a circle, well, before he used to just like start barking and spinning around in circles, but now
No.
he's more chill about it. He's like, "Okay, I get it. There're gonna be weird things here." But before, when I would cast a circle, he starts, spinning around and barking and stuff. He's like a very magical boy. Like I have different incenses, like jars of incenses and things around my spirit room. And if he's in the room when I'm doing a session, he'll go up and nudge something with his nose. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm gonna burn that then. Like
Mhm.
he's like he gets it, he knows. And he doesn't just know he knows. He doesn't just nudge things with his nose randomly when I'm not working. It's like for a reason.
Mhm.
He's a
Yeah.
magical little boy.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
one time when I was in a like kind of in a bad mood, and this was before I was like realizing how magical he was. He started nudging at something under one of my altar tables. And I'm like, "What are you doing? Like, get out of there. Why are you doing this?" And finally I'm like, "Okay, let me just see like what he's trying to get into." And it was like a fresh bundle of like sweetgrass. And I'm like,
Mm.
Oh.
"Oh, I should burn this." And that was when I started noticing, "Oh, he knows." Like there was a time where I was doing a session for someone, and right when I welcomed in their ancestors, he walked up to a bottle of what's it called? Florida water, and knocked it over.
Mm.
And I'm like, oh, okay, this is like this person's lineage would be, people who would be working with Florida water. So I poured
Mhm.
some in an offering for that person's ancestors. So yeah, he gets it.
What
I
a
love it.
powerful familiar. He's so
And
sweet
he's
too.
yeah, yeah. Well, he's sweet to certain people, and if he doesn't like someone, I'm like,
There's a
Hmm.
reason.
It's the
Yeah.
things that make you
I'm
go,
keeping my eye on that. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for closing my bedroom because he
Got it.
would go in my bedroom and close the door. I'm like, "Yeah, I don't want them in my bedroom. You're right."
Yeah, that's right.
Before we move on, Animatrix, thank you for the other super chat. Hi, can you say, "Hey Jess, want to hear something scary"? Okay, just did it. And Soraya, hi.
That's my
Hey,
baby.
Soraya.
Hello.
Amazing. Lynn, do you have any pet stories you want to share?
Oh, I have so many, but look, can I just go where Ranny was with Tupac Shakur? Because Duke is, I call Duke the shaman dog. So I just recently posted on my stories his formal name is Duke the shaman dog, Pacificar. And so he doesn't take as active role in like closing doors, but he does the protection on the outside. He's a huge like barrier protector, and he will go after things that aren't supposed to be here in the house, and not in the house but outside externally. But even within the house, when there's spirits walking around, it doesn't bother him. He'll just stare at them, and I'm like, what are you looking at? And I'm like, really? So I know when there's a spirit, but if they're not harmful or anything, I don't mind. I say hello, just say, or it's an ancestor, you just say hi. And then Daisy, who was my first dog that I ever got as an adult. Since Sapphire, you mentioned that a few years ago in 2011, she was an American bulldog, brindled. And so in 2000, I think right along, I think it was in pandemic time or before pandemic, she had gotten sick and couldn't walk, and I had to take care of her. And it was so hard. Honestly, like I didn't know if she had for big breeds, like they have problems with their spine or their some sort of arthritis, but she was only barely 6 years old.
Hmm.
And so we made the decision to put her down. So before we put her down, because it was just she was really a lady. She was like a Southern Belle type of girl. And she
Mm.
wouldn't even poop in public if you had to walk her.
Oh.
She has to go home to poo. And she wouldn't,
She's
but
like
she
me.
was like, I'm not comfortable pooing anywhere else. I want to poo at home. So she had her own place to poo in the back. And unlike Duke, who just like walks as he shits, like he'll walk and I'm like, why can't you just stay in one place and shit? But he can't. He has to like trail like all the like pieces of caca around the so anyway, that's the difference between them two. So Daisy was she was my girl, and we took her. So I gave her last meal, which was salmon. She loves salmon.
Mm.
As a matter of fact, it was so funny because we would leave fried fish on the table and be gone within a few hours. I'm like, who ate the fish? And it turns out she would go on the table and eat the whole like bangos, the milkfish, fried milkfish. And then and they say don't give your dogs bones, you never know what's going to happen. They might be choked. She never choked. She just ate that thing like it was nothing. Um, so we took her to the vet, and she was on the table, and of course I'm like, I didn't take the kids with me because I thought it would be devastating. It was already devastating for me. So when they put the injections in her, the first shot was make her sleep, like what you were saying. The second one, though, that's when it happened. But that moment, I literally like howled, or I was crying so loud in the doctor's office. I think people were bracing their own dogs because it was, but I saw her spirit leap out of her body.
Oh, wow.
So she didn't leave me. She as we walked back to the car, I told my husband, I was like, she's following us home and into the car. And then when I got home, I was just so devastated. I laid down on the floor of this room, and my door was open. We have wooden floors, and I heard her paws walking.
Mm.
She walked towards the door, and I was like, Daisy, and I was like, Daisy, Daisy. And then I think that's when it hit me, like she didn't leave me, but she's happier that she didn't feel like an invalid because she felt so embarrassed that I had to take care of her. and change her diaper and help her express her her waist and feed her by mouth. It wasn't her style. She was a lady in a dog's body, and she was just like, please don't let me become this way. And so I had to let her go. So that was my biggest. So that's why when I like talk about pets, I always feel like you guys are just walking around with heartbreaks and pain that's about to happen. And so I got really bitter afterwards. And I was like, so every time I would see a dog owner or somebody walking their dog, I'd be like, heartbreak, 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 heartbreak. All of you are screwed. All of you are just asking for it. And I was just so like devastated. And I mean, now I still get a little teary-eyed about it, but I have her paw prints here, and I honor her, and she does come around once in a great while, but Duke does such a great job, so she doesn't worry about me. And so that's my big pet story with Daisy. But with Duke, though, his skill set really is the protection, and that was the dog I had asked for in spirit before I had well, after I'd gotten Daisy. I want a dog that's a protector dog, and that's his role. And so he came to me by way of my cousin who had all these puppies, and he just gave me this puppy. And so I've been blessed by Duke.
Aww.
I know. I was like, hold back the tears, don't cry.
Yeah, I believe that like our pets were, we take them into our lives like they were meant to be with us. Like it's like any sort of spiritual contract with family, right? It's like a family contract. And I always think about how I got my cats or my son's cats. I was trying to get him cats. It was like a little bit after the pandemic, and I was online. LA, it's so easy to get cats, but for some reason I was having a hard time. People were not accepting my applications or whatever. It was like months, and I was like, what's going on? And finally it was like, spirit, like, are we not supposed to have cats? And then they said, order all the stuff for the cats online, or they didn't say online, but buy all the things that you need for the cat, and then the cats will come to you. I think I might have told the story, but it's a good story. So I ordered all this stuff on Amazon, like the cat box, the litter, and some food. And the day that the stuff arrived, my friend calls me and says, "Did you want my cats? Because I think I'm allergic to them." And I'm like,
Okay.
yeah, I think those are my cats. Go ahead, bring them over. And then my friend, his face is all swollen and he's all upset, and I open the door, he's crying, and I'm like, oh man, I'm sorry. Where are the cats? But yeah, that's how I got the cats. Like they're still with me. They're not with my son, so maybe they're meant to be with me for now. But they're a blessing. It's like a family contract. I don't think it would have worked out if I had any other cats. These cats do not disrespect my altars. They don't jump on anything. They're like the perfect cats for this house, and they're starting to do magical things. Like one of them I think I sent a picture to you guys when it happened. He pulled out a card.
Yeah.
He just went right up to it and like went to a deck, put his little paw in it, and pulled out one card. I'm like,
oh wow,
what are you doing? I wish I would have recorded it. I'm like, what are you doing? And he pulled out like the perfect card. He hasn't done it since, but yeah. And another cat, the other cat, he nudges specific herbs as well. I'm like, okay, I'm seeing things. It was after doing like a spiritual like exorcism or releasing of a negative entity virtually. The cat was in here, and right when I was done, he walked up to Eucalyptus and he like jumped up a little bit and booped it, and then jumped. I was like, yeah, you're right. I do burn eucalyptus for such things. So yeah, they're in training.
I love that. I love that you have such polite and very magical cats, because the videos I watch on some cats some of them can be real assholes on
that was my fear.
Destruction.
Yeah, these cats are like they're kind of traumatized because they were raised they were born during the pandemic, and then so for like half a year or however long it took for us to get them, they were living in a veterinary office because during the pandemic no one could adopt cats. So Yeah. And they're both
Pandemic
little
cats.
they're little Aries boys, just like me.
Oh.
We're little Aries boys.
And what are their names again?
Uh, it's Bubba, my son named Bubba, and Scary Terry.
So cute.
Scary Terry. And Scary Terry is kind of like a little scared boy. He's a spaz.
Is that the black one that was on the bed in the other room when I went
He's
over?
there's a tuxedo and then
Oh
Bubba's
yeah.
like a gray one. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and since we moved, oh man, it took a while for them to really warm up to us, but once we
Mhm.
moved, they were like, there's so much more loving.
Oh,
Yeah,
maybe
they're
they
like,
like the
oh.
place.
Well, I
Mhm.
think it was like a trauma bond because they moving them was such a hassle. I was like, oh my God, I can't get them into the carrier.
Oh,
And then we
no.
finally we drive them all the way down here, and then we put them in like one of the downstairs bathrooms for a couple days. And then when they came out, they were like, I think I love you.
Oh my
Because before it was like, don't touch me, bitch.
God.
But now they're just like, it was like a whole shift. Everything changed.
Wow.
Yeah, they were just like, oh. She had the power to completely change our our everything.
I love it.
Yeah. Do we have questions in the comments? I think I saw some.
Yeah, we have a question. It's a multi-part one from Aaron Jerry. Who
Hi,
else is a
Erin.
dragon in dreams like Lynn? I think I am a dragon star seed, still trying to understand this whole space, and curious what your take is on aliens and star seeds in general. I also come from family of healers in a different kind of way. Mom is a vet, so had lots of pets growing up. I feel we are connected to spirits like this in some way too? Oh, wait. Oh, connected to spirits. Wait, what? Oh, sorry. Sorry, I'm totally butchering your comment here. Oh, and you're saying that your mom is a vet and reads palms. Your mom sounds cool.
Sounds like you have healers far down the line in your family. But does anyone want to talk about aliens and star seeds?
Mm.
I feel like it's a fun
Hmm.
topic, but there's so many layers to it, and it's so
Mm-hmm.
It is.
nuanced. Because we are composed of many, or this is my belief. This is just what I believe. I don't know if it's completely true, but we're composed of many energies. We're not just from one star, even because we've hopped around, most of us. Um, Especially if you're an older soul, or I mean, even if you're a young soul, um, you could have been from different stars in different incarnations. Um, when it comes to being a dragon or dreaming that you're a dragon, that's definitely a thing, you know. People resonate with dragon energy and some people don't. And if you resonate with that energy, you could either see yourself as an extension of dragon, you could see yourself as a dragon, or you could see a dragon as a home or a protector. Because when I think about my dragon, there's like a big part of the house that's on this side of the house, and I see that my dragon like resides on top of the I don't know what to call that. The first floor of the house that's on this side, I see my dragon on it. But
Mhm.
yeah, and
Mm.
I don't think that that dragon is not a part of me. I think that is an extension of my being or beings. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
What are
I
your
think
thoughts,
when
Lynn?
um well, I don't know if any of you know this, but I do have that part of me that is a blue dragon. I when I do journey work, I've done shamanic journeys with different people. People have seen me in my other forms. One that's very pronounced and stands out is my shape shifting abilities, but it's not an ability, it's my being
Mm-hmm.
into the blue dragon. And I guide people in that form, whether it's in the dream realm or journeying like in this physical world and taking them to the other side. But in terms of aliens and starseeds, now that's interesting because again, many layers, the starseed too. I definitely believe what Rannie said. We do come from different star systems. I believe when Rachel was alive, she said that her and I belong to twin stars. which is interesting. And I don't know if I've said this before, that when Sanrio came out with Little Twin Stars, I resonated so hard with those
Oh,
characters, right?
We used to have one like hanging in our bedroom actually, and
how
oh
poke
cute.
at it all the time.
yeah.
Uh,
I love Little Twin Stars. Anything that had to do with stars, that was my thing. I wrote poetry in kindergarten about the stars. I named my daughter after the Pleiadian star cluster, all that kind of stuff. Everything had to do with stars, 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 stars. And then even when my son was a little kid, when he was like 2 years old, he said, "I came from the stars and went into my mom's belly."
Mm,
So it's very
oh.
real. It's very real to me in my world, in my realm. So it's not a belief, it's actually a thing that my kids, if they're not aware of these nuances and in social media and stuff like that, but this is naturally coming out of their mouth, then it must be real to me.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and then for the alien part of this, I really feel like there's aliens around us all the time that are disguised as humans. Some are like invisibles. I have a friend who is an indigenous Aboriginal elder who talks about this, the star people, and that the star people have visited Australia, or the land that they call Australia, for many thousands of years, and they express them in their wall art. It's also expressed around the world in the different forms that these aliens have showed up.
Yeah.
So I don't think that they're fake. I honestly think they are real beings. It's, indigenous people were drawing them. They were saying they came to us, and I had this conversation with my sister the other day, one of my other sisters. She's like, "How can you have laser accurate stones laid down on these pyramids that were built thousands of years ago and say that these people didn't have the technology to build highly accurate civilizations in terms of like water systems, energy harnessing, living spaces, worshiping spaces, temples, that kind of stuff?" So I believe aliens have been around for a very, very long time. I'm sure that people can say, "No, you're not. That's not accurate." I'm like, well, you can believe whatever you want to believe. Let the evidence speak for itself. And I also saw aliens. We went, what do you call it? When you look for shooting stars. We were looking
stargazing?
stargazing, but no, no, no. It was like one of the meteor showers that was out.
Mm.
So my sister had not ever seen a meteor shower, but I've been taking my kids since they were little to go meteor shower watching. So we went up to Angeles Crest Highway, up to the forest, and then we saw this one light that appeared and then moved to this other side real fast and then went to the other side real fast. I'm like, that is not a shooting star. That is an alien. And it's moving at incredible speeds that you cannot say that we've already completed that technology in public unless the government's already done something in private by studying the aliens that they have collected over the years and underground been researching and reverse technology, creating our own type of flying craft. Okay, I'm really going deep into this, aren't I, with the alien thing? I have a lot to say. I have a lot to say about the alien stuff, but that's where I stand with in terms of aliens and the star seed stuff. So
Yeah. And I believe in I just feel like the word alien is so weird. You know,
It's a
I
loaded
believe in
word
like
now.
I believe
it
in
is.
like I like to use the word like entities,
Mhm.
entities from other dimensions, because space is sort of just like another dimension, and they definitely can travel um interdimensionally as we can, um like in meditation, in through our mind's eye, or um you know in trance work as well. It's like you could connect with these things. You can see these things if you do a little DMT. You see them.
Mhm,
They look a little weird. I don't know if
mhm.
that they're just trying to fuck with you and they're trying to present themselves to look in certain ways, but you know, I totally believe in them. I believe in entities from other dimensions, and space being one of them.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
And we are connected to them, like,
Yeah.
and we were them, like if you were born in many
Mm.
lifetimes, I believe that we have many lifetimes, not just on this planet. And the
Yeah.
people who are connected to the stars, like Lynn, people who always look to the skies, they understand when they think about what it could be like to like be on another planet or in another space, another dimension. They feel it in their heart. And that's how I feel. When I was little, I used to look up at the sky and I used to really just know that that was home as well. So, yeah. And now they have all these different terms and the
Mhm.
different areas and the things, and it can sound a little woo woo, but also like I feel like there's a little truth to a lot of it because it's stuff that like if you grow up having these thoughts and these feelings and connections, and then you just start seeing information that is based on thoughts and feelings you had as a kid, then there's some weight to it. I always feel that though, like the art, the starseed art is a little, it turns people off, right? You want to look up
Mhm.
starseeds. I think I told you about blue avian.
Yeah, the little blue bird people. Those were so creepy.
And I'm like, it's not just that. It's like all like if you look at the Lyrans or the Lemurians and you look at the art, you're like, it's from the 70s. I don't know. it's it's new art, but it looks like they drew it in the 70s for some reason, and
Yeah.
it's a little unnerving but fun. What was that movie that we watched with Francesca? The
Oh, the
Unarians?
Unarian cult. I
Yeah.
don't remember what. Oh no, Welcome Space Brothers. That's what it's
Yeah,
called.
that was a good alien
Quote
documentary.
unquote. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Like the word alien, I feel like the same way as like ghosts. It's like being co-opted by pop culture. So it's like when you say
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
alien, you
Yeah.
tend to think of like the big eyes with the thing because that's what like we see.
Yeah.
But it's so much like larger than that, like
Yeah,
different
like
than that. You can't really pin it down. But also
yeah.
like I fully believe that. I think that would be insane for us to think there is nothing larger than us. Like when you just think about how big the universe is and all these galaxies that we
Mm-hmm.
can see but haven't been to. And I always just think about how, if you think about all the little like bacteria that live inside you, like they're unaware of what they're a part of, but they're just like doing their own thing on their level.
Mm-hmm.
And like we're
We're composed of
bacteria of
tiny
the
aliens.
universe. Yes. So,
Yep.
yeah.
We're our
There's
own
some
universe.
Yeah,
yeah.
we are. Oh, that's
Yeah,
that's deep, man.
we are. And I talk about this that we're our own universe, but every part of us is its own universe as well. Every cell has a
Mhm.
nucleus, which is the center of its own system, right?
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
but they also die just like stars. So,
Mhm. Stars are the atoms? Cells of the
yeah, they could be the
universe.
atoms or even the neutrons of an entire universal cosmic infinite thing that we can't even see beyond and it can't even see beyond itself.
Mhm.
That's my Scorpio side talking.
I
Let's go
love
deeper.
it.
Let's go deeper and darker. I can do that.
And I
And
think
I'm
like
like,
oh.
oh, I was just gonna say, and I'm like, that's why I love Rick and Morty so much.
Oh.
The many multiple layers of
Multiple
universes, and
universes.
yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
the
I was
Aries.
watching Star Trek The Next Generation season 1. Anybody Trekkies in here? Because I've been rewatching.
You love Star Trek.
You know what?
You love
It has
star
been
things.
star things. I'm a star person.
Yeah.
So relevant. A lot of the topics they talk about are so relevant now today. And I had to
Mm.
rewatch it and talk to you ladies about this because if you all have access to watching Star Trek season 1, please do, because some things that they said in there are happening now today.
Oh wow.
That is crazy. And I think a lot of the stuff that have been foretold were in these movies, and it's happening right now. And especially about humanity and being alien, that you're talking about cryogenics and how it ended in the 24th century because people no longer cared about material things. All their needs were met. And so the people who were defrosted in this one episode were like, well, I need to call my banker. I need to call my lawyer. I paid lots of money for this so I could be frozen and da 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 da. I was like, sounds like familiar names, like Elon
Mm.
Musk, trying to do research and going to another space, maybe like freezing the body, even like the whoever was saying they want to take their mind and put it into into the computer, into AI.
Hmm.
And there's an episode there where there's someone who is dying and wants to put their mind into an android, into a machine, so that they could live forever. And that's happening now.
It's
And
so
this
Mm.
is
crazy.
like, you know what I mean?
People are so crazy that they
It's
want to
like,
do that. It's like your spirit lives forever, man. You don't have to confine it to a computer. That's how we end up getting computer viruses. I'm just kidding.
mm.
That's how we end up getting ghosts in machines. God damn it.
Very Matrix. The virus can ruin a Matrix.
Mm.
Do we want to live in this Matrix? I don't.
Mm-mm.
We're
That's yeah.
dismantling it.
I think our I guess American Western cultures like just so afraid of death in every possible way. I mean,
Mhm.
we talk about obviously like spirits and death all the time, but like for us, it's like death doesn't feel like an end because we know that it's not. But for a lot of people, because they don't view death that way, they're like, no, I have to put my brain in a computer.
It's like,
It's like,
that sounds logical.
right. It's like, no, you can
Mhm.
live forever in a lot of different ways, like in the way that you help people, the legacy that you leave behind. And,
Absolutely.
it's more than just your physical body.
Yeah, the
So,
physical body is only a small part of who
a
we
tiny,
are.
tiny.
Yeah.
So, such a fraction. And they talked about that in that episode as well. Like they're so afraid
Mm.
that they want to live again, and yet hundreds of years later, you've lost every single person you've known and loved, and starting all over again. And all that money that you had, those billions of dollars that you had to pay for this technology and have a part in this company, no longer exists. And that doesn't have
Mm.
any relevance in the society that is or will be in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like being a vampire, but not so glamorous.
Yeah. Ugh. I wouldn't want that.
Star Trek season 1.
You've convinced me. I never really had an interest in Star Trek, and now I'm like, maybe I should check it out.
I said that last time about the Star Wars thing, but then I completely forgot. But I'm like, oh yeah, you were mentioning things. You need to just like text me the thing so I remember. You were talking about the Star Wars that was all witchy or
Oh,
whatever.
yes, that's also another
Oh,
one.
there's like a coven, right? Or
Yep,
something.
that's also very applicable today. I think Spirit talks to me through these
These shows.
episodes because I rarely sit down and watch. I'm always doing
Mm.
artwork, I'm creating, doing something. But when I sit down, Spirit is speaking to me these messages that I have to convey
Hmm.
to someone or somewhere or even here on our podcast. So I'm glad I
That
was
makes
able to
sense.
speak.
Yeah, those are the meta conversations that Spirit. Now saying meta sounds all lame because of but those are the conversations that Spirit has with us on the side. That's almost like a subconscious channeling, which is always fun when it comes to like receiving messages and realizing that there are so many layers to every message that you receive from the divine or aliens or entities, the divine. I mean, I think it's just different words for
The same thing.
the same things, the same similar, not so similar beings because there's so many.
Yeah.
Aaron Jerry says, yeah, some folks talk about the demons inhabiting robots, like at the quantum level. Say more, Aaron. What are you talking about? There's demons in robots?
That sounds
Are you talking
sexy.
about like
I know.
those AI, what do you call those? The Boston Dynamics robots, like the Sophia, that type of stuff? I'm not sure.
I mean, I think it's a type of possession, if that's what you're referring to, Aaron, because I believe in animism. So
Mm.
I
Yeah.
practice animism.
Yep. Yeah, I
Robot,
believe.
humans,
Yeah,
humanity. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Like spirits can control electronics. Higher level entities can control robots and things, and it's interesting. It's exciting too because it's chaos, and sometimes I get excited by chaos because chaos brings about change.
Mm.
So, demon robots.
Well, we're definitely living in a time of chaos.
Oh, yeah.
I feel I don't know how to feel. I have all kinds of feelings with this type of chaos, but I mean, I'm excited for the type of changes that will happen in benefit for the collective benefit.
Benefit.
Um,
Yep.
yeah, for the greater good. Like I'm talking about real good. I'm talking about like changes in systems that will finally help people because we realize it as a collective that we had a lot of things that we weren't looking at or seeing in the beginning. So all the ugly gets dredged up and all the shadows start, hey, we're racist, we're this, we're ugly, we're misogynist, all those like bad things. But then it makes you question, like, okay, we need to start thinking critically and start
Mhm.
thinking more as a community, as a global community, how we can help one another and help this planet. That's like the bigger message, I think, that is coming through this time, this area in the age of Aquarius. So, we need fire people, we need all the people gathered up, all the air, all the earth, all the elements
Mhm.
finally coming together, working to create a strategy, a plan where we are now implementing these I guess in a sense, like not implementing, but at least coming together in a very nice unison of values that are shared, at least some, and respect, love, that kind of thing, kindness, compassion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is the year of the snake, and the year of the snake is about strategy, taking things, looking at the perspective of things, and finding the ways that would work the best. But I feel like also the year of the snake would be like not showing your hand to everyone just yet,
Mm.
because it's like that's part of the strategy. I don't think we're
Yeah.
going to be in the cohesion part of things
Mhm.
this year because
Mhm.
it's weird. I don't know. I can't be too sure about it, but I think that like yeah, clinging to communities that you know are good and wholesome and compassionate, and really building those up, strengthening those, strengthening what you know is good and wholesome and pure is important right now. Finding those foundations and strengthening it, because right now I'm like I go online for like 5 minutes and I'm like, what are these people talking about? Like what am I
Mhm.
reading? So weird. It is so bizarre. I'm like, wow. It is like you mentioned this last week, Lynn, but like that mass hypnotism, like where certain some
Mm.
people are just so hypnotized that
Yeah.
they like don't make any sense. I'm like, whoa, yo, it's
Mhm.
bizarre. But it's the
Mhm.
year of the snake, so let's come up with those strategies, my spiritual babies.
All right, I feel like that's a good spot to end.
Yes. It was a good conversation today.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Really
Anytime we could
great.
talk about animals and alien and entities
Mhm.
Mm.
and different
Mhm.
And
dimensions is a good
mhm.
time.
And recent examples, like my phone being messed with, great. Oh, that was a good one. Like, Aaron, you weren't here in the earlier part of our conversation, but I talked about how my phone was being messed with before we hopped on.
That's very cool. Well,
So
thank you
anyway, yes,
everyone for
Thank
showing
you.
up. Thanks for your questions and comments in the chat. Thanks for all the
thank
super
you.
chats and scheduling. So I believe the next 2 weeks we said, right? I'm gonna double check. Yeah, the next 2 weeks we are not going to be streaming, but we will return on March 13th, which is my grandpa's birthday, and then it's also
That's
Lynn's
my dad's
dad's
birthday.
birthday. Yeah, which
Aw.
is wild. Aw.
Mm,
All right. So we'll see you guys
We'll see
in
ya.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. See you later.
Bye.
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 Oh wait, and we're not